Okay, so it looks like since you are saying hello, morning, it looks like you can hear me. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now, today we have beautiful day because today we have more than 80 registration of our partners worldwide from different countries, different continents. So if you can also say actually just one or two words from your location, where you're from, it would be really nice too. Just country or so probably actual country, city, just if you wish, and we are starting. So thanks. Turkey, Saudi, Mexico, US, I saw Texas, Houston, Ukraine, beautiful, beautiful, United Kingdom, Bangladesh. Okay, China, Chile. So Poland, beautiful. So again, as usually, we have all continents actually represented here, all different economies, different cultures, different business models. So thanks for joining us. And actually, let's start. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the presentation of a version of Streamline. And this presentation is internal. It's for partners only. And definitely this is because I want you to know about this option before our marketing department will start sharing information about it globally. So I want you to be informed first. I want you to have all tools for further work with your clients first. And I want to provide you with all necessary information before, again, this web version is available for the market. Today's session is supposed to be very efficient, very short, informative, and I do believe that it will not be longer than 40 minutes, but actually, let's see. So what is agenda for today? So right now we have short welcoming part. Again, I'm happy to say that I'm absolutely glad to see each of you here. We will discuss after that some core benefits of a version of Streamline. And let me also introduce our speakers for today. So right now I'm with you. My name is Natalie Lopachak-Ekshi, and since we have a lot of partners who are joining us today the first time, let me also introduce myself. So I have honor of being Vice President of Partnership at Streamline. And our next speaker, and we will be discussing core benefits of a version of Streamline, is Sheetal Yadav. She's a supply chain expert. She works for Anamite Agency, and she's leading expert for Anamite consulting in India. And why I would love to invite her a little bit later, just because she's actually the first of our partners who is already implementing this web version. And right now she's on the final implementation stage, working already with her client. So I would love her to share a little bit about her experience, her expectations. So Sheetal will be right after me. After that, of course, we will have demonstration of a new web version. And at that time, I will invite Lana Kovalenko. Many of you know her. She is one of our best customer support experts. So she will just share her screen. She will show to you how our web version looks. She will show what functions it already has. She will explain you what are our next steps, core benefits, again, if you're talking about technical. And at the end, we will have frequently asked questions. We will discuss some questions which you're already asking me. And we will have Q&A session with Alex Koshulko. Again, many of you know him already. He is CEO of GmbH Streamline. So I do believe that his answers to all of your questions will be the most helpful to you. So if you don't mind, actually, let's move forward and let's start. And again, I love when you're asking questions. So as soon as you have questions, do not hesitate asking. Okay, you don't have to wait till Q&A session. If you have a question to Sheetal, please feel free to ask. If you have questions during Lana is doing her demonstration, again, feel free to ask questions. I'm here to support, so I will try to provide all of your questions to our speakers, so we respond to all of them. Probably that's it. Let's move forward. And just probably I will be talking about very obvious things right now, but what are core benefits for Streamline representation if you're talking about web version. So first of all, many of you were asking about possibility of having this version, and definitely it gives us improved product market fit. So you know that your clients, some of them prefer to use on-premise version, some of them prefer to use web version, some of the cloud, and small spoiler, cloud is coming soon too. But even with web version, we will have more sales opportunities, again, because more of your clients will be satisfied with this option. And we will speak about implementation process, which is much easier with web version a little bit later when we will have our customer success representative here. As I already mentioned, web version is already released for our first client. And right now we are on the final stage of implementation process. Our first client is already using it. And I'm really happy that I can invite Sheetal right now because I would really love to ask her several questions. And actually one of main is how can improve our clients' workflow and level up their business performance with web clients. So Sheetal, if you can tell us a little bit about your expectations about it, what you can see right now, your experience, what your clients and why your clients were requesting this web version, what business tasks they want to achieve having this web version. If you can share your opinion about it, just a couple of minutes, I would really, really appreciate that.
Hey, Natalie, thanks so much for inviting me on this session today. And hello to everyone. A lot of our customers were, honestly, I'll start from here, how the journey went on. So a lot of our customers were asking for a web-based solution. And we knew that Streamline team is quite capable of making that happen. So I connected with Natalie and we discussed about the possibilities here. And the Streamline team really did an impressive job. I'd like to first start from there. They really did an impressive job of, coming up with the web version in a very short span of time. And always what I've seen with Streamline is that the core of the approach is always to keep things simple and easy for the implementation process as well. So just like how we would be implementing a server version, which is the on-prem, the web version is also in the similar line, quite easy to implement. Though it was really new for us, but still the overall implementation happened quite smoothly from that perspective. And we are, at the final, as Natalie mentioned, we are at the final stages of implementation. We have officially completed the implementation today. So that's a great news for us. The client is basically looking for a solution where their team can collaborate together, and they can also give access to some of their customers who can actually come and feed in the numbers. And it becomes a more collaborative process and approach for all of the users to understand and work on the demand plan and the inventory plan and see how it's being happening in the system. So it improves visibility for all the stakeholders who are involved in the process, and that's something that we would be definitely achieving from this version over here. And performance is at par, so that's also great to see. It's, as I said, it's at the core of Streamline technology. So we have seen that we have been associated for quite some time, and we have seen how quick and fast not only the implementation is, but overall experience for the users is in terms of using the system. So that's quite impressive. I personally have worked in a variety of solutions, but we have seen system to be quite advanced in terms of the speed, in terms of churning out the reports, churning out the forecast numbers, etc. So it's pretty impressive. I'm pretty happy and optimistic about it.
Thanks, Shital. Thank you. Can you elaborate? I have only one short question. I know that your client wants to create extended web actually with their clients, and they want grant access to system to their vendors or clients. I may be mistaken right now. So can you please tell how will it help actually to improve their performance, improve their workflow, improve their communications with their partners outside of their company? Because actually this is what I believe is the most important.
That's correct, Natalie. So it gives a one interface over the web where their customers can also come and log in and look at the exact same information which the current team is planning. So it just gives a complete visibility to all the stakeholders inside and outside the company who are involved and very much critical to the process, to the planning process. So their customers can also come and edit the numbers, can provide in their feedback in the demand planning process, and also update, hey, look, we believe we have an extra demand here, so let's increase the numbers. So instead of exchanging these things over email, they would be able to log into the system and put in their numbers directly in the system and update it. So it's pretty smooth from that perspective. You're not really dependent on sending things over email, getting that information. So setting up the cadence of the process and then using the system to overall manage the entire process within the application is a big plus.
Can we say that this is actually extended and improved S&OP process, which is going far beyond the company, but which is connecting all partners of this ecosystem?
That's true. That's a fair assumption, I would say.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shital. I cannot miss actually that there are several congratulations to you with this finishing of implementation from countries, from MENA, Middle East, from Latin America. Gentlemen, thank you for your kind words. I'm sure that Shital really happy to hear that. I know that Shital has to leave for another meeting in a couple of minutes. So if you do have some questions, please feel free to ask right now, or we are just moving forward and we will have next part of our presentation. Okay, so Shital, thank you so much. Yeah, great work, bravo. So no questions, only compliments to you today. So let's move forward. Shital, thank you so much for sharing your experience. Thank you so much. It was really, really helpful because, one thing is to do release, and the second is to, to show that this solution, this software is already working and clients are already successful. It is really, really important. So I really didn't want to make this presentation before we can talk about successful implementation and success in this process. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Natalie.
And let me right now introduce one more lady, Lana. Again, many of you already know Lana. She's one of our best customer success experts, and she will be presenting web version today. And again, why we have chosen Lana to present this web version, just because she is one who is responsible for implementation process. So again, if I talk about some technical questions, Lana is the most experienced person in our team to help you with those questions. Lana, please, stage is yours. And let's move forward.
Thank you, Natalie, for your kind introduction. Thank you for having me, and greetings to everyone. So at first, let's talk a little bit about the core benefits for the clients, the benefits of Streamline web version. First of all, it is important to mention a really easy setup. So the setup is just the same as the usual setup for Streamline server version. We have the server where the project is running, and everyone who has a license can access it. Web access on any platforms. There may be situations where companies cannot use their work computers to download and install programs. In this case, Streamline web version is the great solution for that because it absolutely solves this problem. So you just need to have a browser to access your project, and that's it. So really simple. And again, a lot of customers and partners were asking about that, and here it is. Then what is also important to highlight once again, decentralized administration and updating. So with the web version of Streamline, you don't need to worry about updating it to the new version and download the files each time. So when the server version is installed, you will have the same version of Streamline in your browser. So it will be just the same. Finally, it is also important to highlight the extended infrastructure. We have touched a little bit. Meaning that the organization can grant an access to their suppliers and customers. So having just a browser to connect, they can provide that. It is possible and it is really simple to create an external account in the project for them to include some rights and permissions, and the customers can log into the Streamline web from their browser to view and modify the forecast. Yep. So before jumping into the web client presentation and screen sharing itself, it is also important to mention that is how you start working with it from the technical side. Again, the procedure is really simple. We run a Streamline server setup file, and that's it. If you have worked with Streamline server before, you also know the way how to create users there on the separate tab. These users will be the users of the web client as well. Right now, I will ask the permission from Natalie to share my screen and demonstrate the web version finally.
There is a question to Lana. Where is the web version hosted? Can it be hosted in Europe?
It is included in the same setup file as the Streamline server is. So it is hosted there.
Thank you so much.
So yeah, it's absolutely possible to use it everywhere. We don't have any restrictions on that. Okay, so to everyone, please let me know if you're seeing my screen at the moment and if everything is fine.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, great. So here we are just in the browser, and I will demonstrate our test project to show the features which are available here. Here we are on the demand tab of Streamline, which is mostly about planning and item view, the area where you work with the forecast, where you generate the forecast, can modify it, and so on. On the left, we can see our money tree, and if we expand it, we see that it is available at any level. We have all items level. We have locations, channels, categories of items, and the items itself. As you can see, the system is working pretty smoothly. So as I click between those items, the system is running just fine, and we are constantly working on improving the performance even more for a larger project, of course. It is possible to switch between different views. So right now we're looking at item location and channel view, but we can also change that to location item channel, channel item location, whatever is more convenient for you. As you can see, the graph is also changing so smoothly, and so does the tree and the forecast itself. So let's pick one example here and move to the right to see the forecast table here. The same as in a Streamline desktop application, we see our statistical forecast generated by the system, as well as the information uploaded from the data source about our past sales. The ability to make overrides is also present here. So all the yellow cells are adjustable, and you just click on this cell and input your own forecast, which, as you probably know, it will be the priority for the system. Our kind of new feature, forecast versions, is also present here. So by clicking this button at the top of the screen, it is possible to input your own custom forecast, to create a new one, or rename, modify, delete the existing one. We have some other information about revenue on hand, stock out days, projected inventory levels, ordering plan, ordering availability, to ship line, ignore actual sales option, all visible and present in the web version here. While we are talking about these tabs at the top of the screen, I will also highlight that it is possible to approve and unapprove the forecast, our time fence feature, which you probably know about, and the buttons to mark particular item or category to needs attention or to check it. The boxes to modify the money tree are also present. An option to aggregate them using the ABC analysis, an option to hide overstock and stock out details, an option to hide the categories to see the view of items only. System takes some time to process this request, but as I have already mentioned, it is already pretty smooth and fast, and we are constantly working on improving the performance on all the tabs. About the graph, as for me, it looks really great. We see all the needed information on it. Let me expand the tree to see some more information here on the graph. So we have the line of actual sales, our forecast in red, safety stock band, projected inventory, all you need, and all we have in the standard Streamline application. Moving to the right, it is also an option to work with your forecast itself, to set the forecast approach. As you probably know, by default, it is bottom up. You can change it to top down for child nodes. You can choose the modal. You can work with ignoring data, zero sales, stock out days. You can use multipliers, price elasticity, holidays and promotionals, and option to use model from another item, option for manufacturing, and so on. So all the functionality we actually had before. The model tab is also available. We need to choose another level to see it. Okay, so we see the coefficient, level slope, seasonality test, model map, all here, as well as the inventory tab for this particular item and the KPIs. What is also important to mention when we are looking at this tab, that we are currently working to add the settings button, so you can modify the settings for your project, and we are working on adding update data button here. So that is what on our roadmap. Let's move to inventory tab. Again, the system is quite fast, so it doesn't take a long time to load the information. It shouldn't. So in here we have the the inventory side of our business, we have all the information uploaded from our data source with the yellow columns which are available for our manual overrides. And the color coding is also present here. The color coding, just to remind you that in red, we have our stockouts, and in dark green, we have our overstocks. The data in blue is our manual overrides. So they are also here. You can easily view them. Just all the same information in transition items, which I would like to point out because we have the separate in transition tab for those. So in here we have the table, which is used to work with in our standard Streamline application, desktop application, to receive and to ship items, all present here. All the information about service levels, safety stock, and so on. Moving to the right, we have our current orders Streamline is generating. And of course, maybe one of the most important functionality here, the planned orders, where our order generated by the system is displayed in the table format as we are used to view it. Of course, with an ability to make an override right in here and to modify it, like including items with zero order quantity, or removing orders from the list, including manufacturing orders, and so on. So all of that is present here. We have the order plan displayed and stockouts and overstocks here. What are our main plans regarding this inventory tab? Of course, we will be adding filters here, which is a great feature. And I know that everyone tried it out, but it is really useful, especially when you are working on a big project. We will add show columns menu and an ability to create containers and groups, and not only use the uploaded ones. So yeah, this is our main plan, and our team is working on developing on all those features, and of course we will have the some releases, and we will be also happy to show those to you. Let's talk about reports a little bit. So our team has managed to include all the reports you can access on Streamline desktop version. So they are all here, available for you to check, as well as an option to view the manual forecast input by the team. Some modifications here are also available, like set the period for the forecast to submit and to check the box with actual sales by periods. So yeah, just to demonstrate, it is all present. Right now we are looking at the final forecast here. And again, as you can see, our manual overrides displayed in blue. Yeah, and this all this functionality is present here. Of course, you know that we have one more primary tab, which is called dashboards, and our team is also working currently on adding this to our web application. So it will be ready very soon, and we will be more than happy to demonstrate our our updates to you, along with some other features which are in progress. But of course, the main functionality is developed, and of course, if one our client is already using a web application, it means that it has all the functionality for the team to actually run their business, to generate their forecasts, to view them, modify them, and so on. So their team is using all this functionality I have demonstrated to you today. And yeah, if you have some more questions, just let me know. But that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna, for beautiful presentations. Thank you so much for your experience and expertise. It is really important. Actually, right now we already have a lot of questions from our partners. So actually, guys, I do have a question to you right now. How do you want us to proceed and to move forward with those questions? There are some questions which were already answered by Alex. Would you like us to read them loud and discuss them one by one, or you will just take 2 minutes checking our chat and getting familiar with questions and answers, and we can move forward with new questions? So which one is better for you? So I do believe that we can actually start with new questions. So Alex, probably questions which you already answered, we will leave in the chat, and I will just read new questions so you can start responding to them. Okay, so right now we have question. Question from Anton is, how does the ERP connector work in a web application?
Hi, everyone. Happy to have you all on today's webinar. And I should start probably with explaining the architecture of a web-based solution. And that will answer lots of questions that I have also answered in the Q&A chat window in Zoom. First of all, web application is a client application for the existing Streamline server. So Streamline server is just the same. Now we have a web server in addition that shows Streamline client app in your browser. So that means Streamline is just the same, and we can, of course, only see a small part of functions in the web app. Comparing to desktop client application. That's because this is work in progress. So far, we cover only part of the functions that are demanded by certain roles in organization, like purchaser, collaborator in external organization, demand planners that only change their forecast assumptions and forecast properties. And administrative functions are still in the desktop client. You can connect Streamline server with either browser application or desktop application. You can use the same credentials, same username and password in the desktop application and web application. User at the server is the same for both applications. That means if you have a user in the system, you can choose which client to use on your own to connect the server. So all functions related to connecting with ERP systems, anything you've seen in the previous version of Streamline are available. You just have access to a fraction of those functions via the web client. And of course, we are working on extending the range of functions available via the web client. So we, I think that what you have seen was achieved in a few months, like 2 to 3 months. And in the next 2 to 3 months, I think we will double the number of functions available. And probably by the end of the year, we will finish most functions available in the desktop client. So you'll have full flexibility what to use, either desktop client or web client. So how does the ERP connector work in the web application? It just works the same way. You has to use the desktop client to configure it. The configuration resides on this server, and web client simply is a viewer for the same project-based system we have for Streamline. Okay. Also, I would like to explain the difference between a web version and cloud solution. So, web version is a way how you can access the system via your web browser. And if we start hosting the server on our servers inside Streamline, that will be a cloud solution. What you're seeing right now is installed to a virtual machine, usually a virtual machine in client's infrastructure. So this is still an on-prem solution with web-based access and desktop client that you can use in parallel. As soon as we start hosting this on our servers, this can be called a true cloud solution. Okay.
It looks like we have more questions. Thanks, Alex, for answering before. And let's move forward. How does data will be liked with this web-based system?
Again, this is a web viewer for the same Streamline server. So there's no difference in how it works under the hood.
Thank you so much. It have its own web server engine, or users other like Apache, Nginx, etc.
Right. Usually, installation of a web-based system is a complex process, like typing something in the command line on a Linux server, and that can be accomplished only by an IT specialist. But in our case, it's just a setup file, just like for Streamline server. You run a setup file, and it installs everything: the web server, Streamline server, everything you need to start accessing the web solution. So it has a built-in library that implements web server inside the setup file.
Thank you so much. We have some more questions. First one is from Mauricio. Some of the large customers may see a web version as a security breach for cyber attacks, as they will be opening doors through Streamline. How can we answer to that?
Okay. It's always a concern when something becomes available online. And Streamline doesn't break the standards existing in the industry. So everything is encrypted using HTTPS protocol. And security is based on username and password. So if someone shares the username and password with people not allowed to use the system, of course, this can break security. But this is just the same thing that would happen to any other application. And in terms of how data transfers between the browser window and the server, it's all encrypted. And this solution is installed on companies' premises. That means most security issues that arise with a cloud solution will be managed in accordance with security standards of the organization that implements this solution. So it's, again, an on-prem solution, and all standards of security can be implemented right on your site.
Thanks so much for answering. I hope this makes perfect sense. Let's move forward. Question from Tommy. Is web client connecting the same database same as before as the application? If the client uses private cloud or server, is it still work?
Right, no difference with the previous client server, desktop client and server solution. Web client is it's the same machine as Streamline server.
Thank you so much. Question from Jihad: is there a limitation on the size of the data?
Not really, because for web solutions, there is a technique used, paging. So you are viewing only the page you requested in your browser. So there's no full data image available in your browser.
Thank you so much. Question from Harun: is there a restriction on the number of users when using the web apps simultaneously?
Not really. Well, the number of users for systems like Streamline is usually up to 100, and this is not even close to the number of users of Facebook. So in our case, performance issues are not that extreme as in many other systems. So for such a small number of users, there's no performance issues.
Thank you so much, Alex. Question from Naheem: in terms of pricing, how web version is quote versus server previous approach? Alex, do you want to answer to this one?
Sorry, in terms of pricing, how web version is quote with server previous approach. I think that Netley will stop by and can answer this question.
Okay, thank you, Alex. So, ladies and gentlemen, pricing is the same. It's up to you what kind of technology to recommend, or it's up to a client to use on-premises version or web version. Pricing is the same. We have two pricing policies, you know about that. I wouldn't like actually to stop on this today, but just both pricing system remains the same, and the web version is not influenced. Hope it makes sense. Okay, let's move forward. Question from Mohammed. Just to clarify, we don't really bring anything online. It is a web app that can make it easy to connect to Streamline in the internet, regardless of which PC the planner is using.
That's right. Your database remains in your infrastructure. So it's behind Streamline server, which is on your premises.
Thank you so much for your answer. Question from Zur. Do you plan to support SSO-enabled user logins in the future? Is the future option planned for a full version in the cloud?
Yes, we will have to, of course, and because SSO-enabled logins are popular, and we will have to implement all functions finally, eventually in web version of Streamline, of course, but this will take time.
Thank you, Alex. One more question, this time from Murad. If I started to work offline with desktop, how does data transfer to the server when I switch to web-based version?
It'll work just like before. You'll just get access to two types of access, desktop and web. So it's completely compatible with previous versions.
Okay, thank you so much. Actually, question you probably answered just right now, but let me just read it again. And a question from Jihad: will the client be able to use both web application and server application?
So server is just the same, and users will be able to use web and desktop client applications at the same time, even for one user.
Thank you so much. Question from Accurate. Can one user log in both web or desktop, or need to select one?
It's based on username and password, so you can log in, I think, even at the same time, using two versions, desktop and web.
Okay, thank you so much. Question from Wolf. Alex, going forward, will you consider supporting the public cloud?
Yes, we are working on providing access from servers managed on our side, and that will be a cloud application. If public cloud means simply installing the solution to a public cloud where servers are managed still by the customer, that's okay even now.
Thank you. Before going to further questions, there are a lot of nice words from our partners, from Naheem. He says thank you. From Mohammed, he thinks excellent. Thanks, Alex. So, gentlemen, thank you for your kind words. It's really, it's really nice to see that what we are doing is helpful for you. And let's move to further questions. Question from Truman: is there an additional charge if client wants to use both version? If a client wants to use both versions. So actually, let me answer this question. No price remains the same. And again, it's up to you or up to your client which version to use, and they can use both, as we already discussed. Let's move forward. Is there the same question? Question from Mohammed: is it a responsive web design compatible with mobile devices like tablets? Alex, this question is to you.
It's not completely ready for like mobile phones. So I think it will work fine on a tablet, but smaller screens might cause issues still. And perhaps dashboards can be viewed on a mobile device, while I don't think that it makes sense to work with demand on a phone so far, because your cells will be so small. And I think it's okay to work with it on a tablet.
Thank you so much, Alex. Question from Robert: will there be a specific link to open the web application, or can we navigate there a different way?
Okay. We usually, there are two parts. First of all, when you create a link where you access the online server, you need to issue all necessary certificates that help browsers recognize that the connection is encrypted and it's safe. And issuing those certificates may be complex for a customer, so we provide help in generating those certificates. In that case, the URL that you use to connect your server will be like company name gmdhsoftware.com. So it will be a subdomain under gmdhsoftware.com. However, if a customer can generate certificates for security purposes on their side, then it can be any.
Thank you so much, Alex. Thanks for your kind answers. And there are many compliments and many kind words from our partners again, from Wolf, from Carlos, from Khalid, Truman. Guys, thanks for your kind words. It really, really, really makes us happy and motivate us to move forward. Do we have any other questions, or this is actually, that's it, what you wanted to learn for today? Of course, we do have one more question, Alex, for you. It's not as easy. So, setup of the app in Excel file, installing all the necessary web server and the web app. If there is a new release of the feature like dashboard, if you pack it into an Excel file, how do we roll out the new feature, uninstalling the existing setup?
Yeah, I'll just correct that here we have exe files, like setup files under Windows. Yeah. So the setup is packed into a standard setup file. So it's a new setup file that features web server as well. It's not on the website so far. If you would like to try it, you'll have to work with your customer success manager. Dashboards are on the way. Soon we'll have it in the web version as well. And rolling out a new feature will be simply reinstalling the exe file.
Thank you so much, Alex. Thank you so much. Just kind and small reminder from my side, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. We do have a certification course, and of course, I cannot move forward without mentioning it. So this certification course is created for you, again, to make you feel much more comfortable working with Streamline and to make sure that you know all answers to all of your questions while working with Streamline. So please, I will probably ask our technical support team to send this link to those, actually to the course again to you. Please make sure that you register, and usually it takes for our partners maybe like 4 or 5 days actually to accomplish this course. Please take a little bit of your time and make sure that you're learning it and you're much more confident while working with your clients, and you're capable of providing even better service to them than you're doing right now. So again, thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming. So there is one more question. Is it true that it was done in 3 months? Really? Yes, it is true. It is true. And again, as I already mentioned, we were doing it because one of our client, Shital's client, requested this functionality. So after we signed contract, we started developing this, and we really have finished it in 3 months. So we're still improving something, but what was discussed within the actual contract, we have already finished and completed everything. So as I say, we are happy to move forward to develop, just bring clients who are happy to use Streamline and improve their business at the same time. So we are happy to be flexible and support all of your needs, most of them. Thanks for joining. Thanks for your kind words. Let's talk to you as soon as possible. We are here to support. We are here for you to help. We are here for you to answer all of your questions. And let's move forward. Let me know if you need any help.